Alright guys, how's she going today? So, winter is officially here. It's snowing out right now. They're talking, I don't know, everybody keeps saying something different, but last I heard it was anywhere from 5 to 1 foot. And then the really bad areas, they could even see up to 2 feet, but that's a pretty small area. So right now we just got a little light snow going on. Of course it's gonna stay. They're not talking any more nice warm days now. So, but yeah, so I got the blower put on the tractor and I tested it and everything, so it should be good to go. And I went and got gas yesterday and I topped everything off. So Big Rat's got a full tank, Tahoe's got a full tank in case we need it for some kind of an emergency, and then the John Deere's full. So I ran to the hardware to get some things, and I had a spare key made up for the Tahoe because it didn't come with a spare key, which I don't like. I like to have spare keys to everything. So while I was waiting for the guy to make me up a key, I picked up an oil filter wrench. I don't know if it'll work for, this is just going to be more or less for the big tractor, the 1586. This isn't going to be for anything small. Right now it looks like it's already too big even for my filter, but this is made by Pennzoil, I guess, whatever. It's their big boy, but this is what it looks like. I don't know. I think these do get a little bit smaller as you, yeah, I think as you tighten them, yeah. So it should fit on the 1586's filters. So I think this is adjustable. The handle, it's adjustable both ways or just one way? Should be both ways, really. It's kind of an interesting thing if it's only one way, but oh, it goes both ways. It's just super damn tight. Holy shit. That's one tight baby. Of course, it hasn't been used, obviously, so but yeah, so that's going to be for the 1586 when I have to replace the fuel filters and whatever else, engine oil filters and whatever, because we don't have a wrench or a filter wrench that size. I don't remember can't remember how we got them off before, because I know that we had to change the fuel filter and then I changed the engine oil filters. I don't remember how the hell I got them off the last time. I don't remember. We used something, but I know that it damages it. It'll damage the filter. So, but other than that, I don't know. So, kind of just is what it is, I guess. So, I need a place. Where can I put this stupid thing? Somewhere where it's not going to be in the way. It's going to be in the way, I think, no matter what. Because I didn't put any more screws in the wall. I got plenty of screws, so I could easily put one in the wall and be good, but maybe there. Oh, those nails are kind of bent down, but I guess that'll work. I don't know. It's not perfect, but as long as nobody bumps into it, it should be all right. But yeah, so winter is definitely here. I don't know how good it's gonna show up on camera. There's like not much for snow, obviously. It's just a little dusting, but it's supposed to get worse as the day goes on and even into the night. I don't know exactly how much snow we'll get. I don't really want a lot, but I mean, I want snow obviously because we need it for moisture for the hay, but I don't want. I guess the thing that I don't want is I don't want to be out every, you know, 3 times a week snow blowing like I was last year. So, you know, but I don't know. This is the first real snowstorm of the year, so I don't know. I don't really know. So, but I guess I'd rather deal with this, I think, than deal with what Florida's getting. I think they're getting a second hurricane. This one's, I think, there's only a Category 1 the last time I checked. And I think they're still recovering from the other hurricane that they had a couple of months ago. So, to get hit twice in 1 year with a hurricane, that's a son of a bitch. Even though it's a Category 1, I think Category 1s only make wind, I think, starting at like 75 miles an hour, and they can kind of go up from there a little bit, but that's about normal for a Category 1, I guess. But yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So, because I mean, we've had wind gusts close to 60 here. You know, we kind of more or less get that in the wintertime because we get such bad winter storms over here. But I don't know. So other than that, I'm pretty much ready to go. It's just you know, everything's fueled up and ready to go and whatever else. So yeah. So I don't know. The young guy came a few days ago. He came and got those 2 bulls. He thinks that I should hang on to mine for a little bit yet, because I guess technically the bull left when it was here last year or last winter. The bull was here until sometime in December, and he thinks now there's a chance that she could still be pregnant, but she could just be a very late calving cow. She might calve whenever the bull left, you know, so her time could be different from everybody else's, because who knows exactly when she went in the heat. You know, everybody has kind of a different cycle time, but other than that, I don't know. So she's going to stay here until sometime in December, and then from there, if she don't calve by then, even though it's getting so damn cold and late now, I don't really want her to calve. She's leaving. I mean, there's no sense of hanging on to her. He's thinking that maybe I should trade her in for another cow that's of, you know, the same price and whatever, and maybe that is actually pregnant and that's going to calve, but I don't really know. So I just don't really have time to be pissing around with it anymore. I mean, it's like either you're going to calf and make me money or help me grow my herd, or you're going to get the hell out of here. It's just, I don't really have time for it anymore. I just want to move on and focus on other things now. And it's like, okay, this calving thing's not working out for me. So I don't know if it's because we changed the time of when these cows calve. I mean, I don't know. My uncle had no problem calving this year. All his cows calved except mine. So it was obviously a really good calving season. It's just for some reason mine was being a bitch and didn't want to get pregnant, or it hasn't calved yet, either one, but I just don't think she's pregnant. So I can't see her being so far out of calving season. But I mean, it can happen, I guess. But I don't know. It's just, I don't think she's pregnant at all. I don't know. Either these cows start making me money, I start growing my herd, or I'm out. It's just, I don't have time for this anymore. I could be shifting my gears and focusing on something else instead of horsing around with this shit. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't calving, but, or, you know, raising cattle, or attempting to raise cattle at least, because this is getting to be under my skin now and just pissing me off. So I don't know. I might turn, I guess if I don't really want to mess with that anymore, then I guess I might shift my gears into something else. You know, maybe like small repairs or something. I don't know. I don't know. Or I just shift my track completely and just go in a complete different direction. I guess, and find something else. But if I'm not going to raise cattle anymore, then I don't know if I'm going to, honestly, if I'm going to even still continue to live here, because that's the only reason why I'm staying here is because of the farm. If farming isn't going to work out, then I'm going to move somewhere else and focus my career on something else somewhere else. You know, it's just like, it's a pain in the ass. So, but I'm not going to worry about it until, I'm not going to make that final decision until, you know, until I get final results of what this cow crap is going to do for me. Right now, it's just, the last couple of years have just been pure hell, and I'm just not getting anywhere with it, you know. I'm just tired of spending time and money on it and whatever else. Now, I would like to still continue working on the grain truck and the you know, the tractors, you know, but the grain truck and the little farm all, I do plan on using them, you know, if I still continue to be in the cattle business. But if I don't, then I may just buy them off my grandma and then just use them as like tinker toys, and maybe I'll just slowly fix them up, you know, just have like a small project floating around, you know, or at least 2 of them anyway, and then just fix them up, I guess, and then just drive them around, I guess, you know, or whatever. I don't know what I would really use them for, but I mean, I'd most likely hang on to them. I don't think I'd ever sell them, you know, because, so, it's just kind of just the way it is. So, but I don't know. Things are a pain in the ass, and I'm just tired of spending time and money on it. If I don't, because I'm only going to really spend so much more time on this before I just say fuck it, shift my gears to something else and forget about it. So, I don't know. But I guess we'll see what the next couple of years bring us. I don't know. I just haven't really been having the best of luck with cattle the last few years, but you know, that's to be expected with me because I have bad luck and nothing can ever go right. So, yeah, I just got done in. I didn't make a video of it, but I did have some Christmas deers up here. Of course, they're gone now. They used to sit right here. They're Christmas deers. They would light up, you know, for Christmas. I haven't had them out in about 2 or 3 years, just because we kind of been not doing it, and we decided to do it this year, and then we bought a tree, an outdoor tree. It's a willow tree. It's fake, obviously. It's not the real thing, but it's a fake. And I got that set. It's meant to go outside as well. I got that set up right now and did all that before this crap came in, and I bought a timer for it so it would come on and off automatically without us having to go out and, you know, plug in a cord or something every day and every night. So, been having trouble figuring out the stinking timer because the instructions are bullshit. So, they're not real. I mean, they're there, but they're not, I guess, clear enough to where my brain would process it and say, hey, this actually makes sense. So, so last night I had the timer on, but I guess it was more or less a override button. I thought it was actually an on-off button for the whole entire unit, so you could just turn it on and then it would automatically come on and off as it wanted to. But come to find out, it's actually like an override on and off, where it'll just instantly turn everything on. It'll just turn it on, but it won't turn it off. So I read the instructions again, figured that out, and it says if you want because you have a custom time, and then you have presets, which they have one preset that would actually work for me, but I don't think it was working. I don't know why not, but it wasn't. So I'm using the custom times, and so I did that, and I thought it was on last night, but then my lights never turned off you know, at midnight, like they were supposed to. They kept running. So I just went over there quick and turned it off with the button. But it sounds like if you want to use the custom times, you have to use the custom buttons. Like there's actually an on and an off. The on is when you want it to start, and then the off is when you want it to actually turn off. Well, in order for them to actually work, not only do you set your time for them, that's actually your on-off buttons, supposedly for your custom time. So if you turn them on, they light up blue. That means that it's active. So I'm waiting for 5 o'clock to come because I have it set for 5 o'clock p.m. to turn on, and then it's supposed to turn off at 11:30 p.m. That's just a test to see if it will actually physically work. If it turns on at 5 p.m. and then turns off at 11:30, I might up that to midnight because then I'll know it'll work. So right now it's just a test because I don't want to be running out there at midnight or 1:45 just to turn off my shit. So that's what I bought the sinking timer for. But this one's a little more fancier than the old school ones. My uncle has an old school one. It's got the rotary knob thing on it. I watched a video on that, but that's actually kind of confusing to me because of course I've never used anything like that. Things I've never used in my lifetime are always confusing to me, so I have no clue how they work. Even though you watch a video, it still doesn't explain nothing to me. So I bought this digital one, and of course it still has buttons. It has buttons instead of the rotary knob. Well, that was a lot easier to set up, which is what I liked. So, but it wasn't working last night. Well, I think that's just because I had the override button on instead of the actual custom times. So, but I don't think the preset ones are working, even though they're there, but I don't think they're working all that great. So, I don't know. I'm just waiting to see if the custom setting will come on now. So hopefully it will, and whatever. And it's supposed to do that every day until you decide to just turn it off, you know, manually. So it's got a built-in battery. That's just more or less for memory, which I'm not a big fan of that because it, you know, being in the cold like this, and it's going to be out year-round. I'm not going to really remove it because I could probably use it in the summertime too. So, but I don't know. So, but I'm not a fan of the battery that's in it because it's a permanent battery. You can't replace them. They are rechargeable, but you can't replace it. So, once it takes a crap, well, that's going to be the end of it. But, you know, I think you could still use it. It's just, it's not going to remember anything because that's just for remembering my settings. So, but not that it really needs to remember my settings, but it can. I think it would still work even without the batteries in it because it'll just suck juice from the house then. But that's just for when the power should go out. It'll last for however many hours. So, but whatever. It's perfectly fine, I guess. So, but yeah. So I don't know. Trying to figure out that, and hopefully I can get it to go, and then we'll be done. So we can move on to something else, I guess. But yeah, I never got to wash the John Deere like I wanted to. It just got too late. It's just, you know, just got too late. So I had to, you know, forget about it. So that's usually the way it always is. Though I did wash Big Red though. I had just enough time to wash him in the Tahoe, but not enough time to. Oh yeah, and I washed the trailer, the cart, but not enough time to wash the John Deere. So oh well, it's just gonna get dirtier anyway with the snow and dirty snow and whatever. So, but. Not a very exciting video, but it is what it is. Just going to give you guys an update. So I don't know how many more videos, how often I'll make videos now. I know Reese 6 wants to see some snow blowing videos. Well, they're not too far away now. Looking on Reese 6 videos there, some of his, well, most of his newest ones there, he's already got snow on the ground, but it looks like it's kind of melted a little bit. Unless it was just kind of just drifting in certain areas, but as of right now, it's got way more snow than we do. We just have a very light dusting. But it's supposed to get worse as the day goes on, but the winds have been pretty bad since yesterday evening. So, but whatever. It is what it is. So, I don't know. So, I don't know. I'll try to get some snowblowing videos for you guys, but I don't know how often I'll do it and whatever else. So, but yeah, I guess it's been lit. Not much else to tell you guys, but yeah, winter's coming. It's pretty much here. So, because it's snowing, it's not like whiteout conditions. So I think we are in for a. I think they upped it now to a blizzard warning. But I think up in Canada they call it a snowfall warning. Here it's just called a blizzard. So I think that's like the worst you can get. And then there's ones obviously under it that are not as bad. But yeah, they shut down the interstate between two major cities. But the one from our place to the next city is still apparently open, but I guess it's not snowing bad enough there, so they kept it open. Some people have already lost power because some of this was supposed to be an actual ice storm. Yeah, sure enough, they freaking got it. I just hope it doesn't come this way, because that's all we need to do is lose freaking power, because we have no way of heating our house. Not like my aunt. You know, she has a furnace, but they also kind of use a corn stove. I think it's a corn stove. What the hell is it? A corn or a pallet freaking stove kind of looking thing. It's not a wood stove. It's, you know, one of those other things, but supposedly the price of corn or whatever has gone up. It's like $7 a bag or something now, so it's getting harder for them to use that, but they keep it as a backup in case you should lose power. Then you can heat your house with corn or whatever the freaking hell it is. So I was kind of thinking maybe of doing that, but you know, I don't know, $7 a bag. It's not the worst thing in the world, but with a wood stove, at least, you know, I could go cut down our trees. And we've got tons of fucking trees we can cut down. And we got two big massive piles already at the farm that are beyond done. But those are more or less to be saved for my grandma in case she needed them. And then they have a small load actually down in the basement too. Of course, how good that is, I don't know, because that's been there for many years. But I don't have a pile of my own. But there's really no sense because I don't have a wood stove. I was thinking of getting one. Nothing super fancy, just something that, you know, obviously would heat the basement or could try to heat the house at least. And then maybe we could cook food on it, because I know they make some that way too, that you can actually cook food on it. So that would be kind of nice to have, but at least, man, they're expensive. But yeah, it would be kind of nice to have a wood stove as a backup. But if I would have had that generator project built, I would have just used that, because then we could just run space heaters off that, you know. So it wouldn't keep your house completely toasty hot, but it would keep it above freezing, at least so your pipes don't fucking freeze. But I don't know. If it gets bad enough for us, yeah, we can go over to my grandma's place because they got a wood stove, but it's thin, it's wore out. So they just save it now for emergencies, which hasn't happened since '97. We haven't had a year like that. So, but for us, yeah, we could go over there, but we also could kind of live in the Tahoe too if we had to. I mean, big tank. I think those Tahoes have like a 30-gallon tank, you know, gas tank on them. So, you know, you could live in there, you know, maybe for a couple of days. You probably wouldn't want to run the blazer steady, but, you know, but you could do it if you had to. You know, that would be our emergency heating. You wouldn't be able to heat the house, but you'd be able to keep yourself warm and the cats and whatever else. But I don't know. I don't know what the neighbors are doing here, because they said that they have to get a furnace put in, replace their furnace, but I don't know, because their furnace requires propane. The old one that was in there is apparently that one that's in there now is all wore out and rusty, so they can't use it. But given how they don't have a propane tank in their yard yet, I'm kind of wondering if they didn't switch over to electric, even though I told them not to do it because it's the worst thing to do. Because I have it, electric heating, and it works, it gets the job done, but the problem is that then your electricity bill goes way up, and then your air is just so dry. Whereas propane, you know, it puts a little bit of moisture in the air, so you're good. So Mother, she don't like propane because she's heard horror stories about that, but yeah, you just test them every now and then and they should be good. So, but I'm not a fan of the electric heaters, but I don't have the money or the time to switch over to propane. I probably would switch over to propane myself, but at some point I'd like to put in central air, because we have a mini split unit and that thing's older than the hills. It still works perfectly fine, but you know, it's getting up there in age, so kind of want to get a central air unit put in. But I think you can get a furnace that does that too, but it's also a heater too. You know, it'll heat your house and cool your house. So more money, obviously, but I mean, if you're gonna, if you might as well go with fancy technology if you can get it. You know, get the best that you can get. So yeah, your furnace would be working year round, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. So, but yeah, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. I'm going to head home and, or go home, I guess I'm done here in the shop. So, I just got done figuring out what was wrong with the timer. And then I had a couple of my security camera wires that I had them just hanging there, but the wind is rocking the piss out of them, so I can hear the wires hitting the house. So I had to go put a staple in. And that seemed to fix the problem now, because that was getting kind of annoying. Listen to that all freaking night. So, but yeah. So, and for Roosty 6, I know you told me what to do there with the grain truck. I'm just going to point that out real quick. You said to, I guess, test the water pump, I guess, to see if it's maybe got some play in it or in the shaft or whatever. Well, I think you would have, I don't know, you probably wouldn't have to take the water pump out to do that. I think you could just wiggle the fan, but well, obviously I'm not going to do it now. I've already told you that. We're done. It's just once the snow starts officially flying, we're done. And yeah, it's officially flying now, so that's going to be a next year's project. But even if it's not the shaft, it's probably got to be the gasket. But I got to see if I can even find a gasket for that thing, because if not, then I'm going to have to make my own. But yeah, so that's going to be a next year project. And then after that, it's going to either be the brakes, get the brakes to start working, because that would be super nice to have, some damn brakes, or tires. I'm not going to be able to do both, because it's just going to cost me a lot of money. Because if I have to get a new master cylinder for the truck, well, that's a $260 part. So, and then new tires, well, they're a couple $100 a piece. So, yeah, you know, there you go. And then maybe the following year, I can find somebody to fix that valve. I don't know who would fix that valve or who would be willing to work on something that old, because there's something wrong with it. It's obviously leaking oil, hydraulic oil. It's probably a seal is out. That's probably all, but I don't know who would have stuff like that, you know, and who would work on it. So then that would be another problem to fix. That's really the only major problems this truck's having currently. And that would be probably fairly easy to fix. Brakes are kind of a big job, but you know, if it's just a master cylinder, you would be good to go then. So brakes, water pump, and then that valve. And then maybe after that, maybe start getting some tires, or maybe try to sneak a tire in every now and then. I don't know. So, I don't know. But that truck needs a lot of work, and so does the Farmall. So it's kind of like, you know, I got too many projects. Oh, and then don't forget about Big Red. Big Red's a fucking project of his own. That's at least $1,000 right there, if not a little more. So, I don't know. It's probably won't be running Big Red too much now. So, but I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of just wait and see, I guess, to what happens going into the future. But I think next year we ought to get the water pump fixed, and then maybe the brakes. I don't know. My uncle did test the rad. When I had told you guys that we thought it was leaking on the bottom. Well, my uncle said that it was. There was a leak there where the neck comes out on the bottom. He said that he filled it halfway with water, and then he let it sit for, I don't know, a few minutes, and then he said he could start seeing water dripping out. So I don't know, but so yeah, so the rad did have some leaks in it, but that's all been JB welded up now, so that shouldn't leak anymore unless the whole thing just explodes. But now I got this water pump issue, so I guess that'll be next year's project, then, is to figure out what's wrong. See if it's actually the water pump, because apparently if the shaft has got slop in it, apparently it can leak, I guess, through the shaft. But I'm just going off of what he says. So, or it could be the seal. The seal could be out, or the gasket. I'm hoping it's just the gasket, because that would be a simple job then. But one is you got to find a place that sells the gasket for that freaking thing. If not, then you got to use Gasket Maker, which I think I still have a tube of that down in the basement. So it wouldn't be the end of the world if I had to do that, because I've had to do that with the I think just the valve cover and the thermostat housing. That's all I had to do there. I don't think I ever had to do the head gasket, because the gasket was still all right. It was, the original one was still there, so I never did anything with it. So, but yeah, so and then, well, the very first water leak that we noticed on that truck, and this was dating back to when the truck was brought back to life, the thermostat housing had a crack in it, and it was leaking there. So we JB welded that, and it's been perfectly fine ever since. I mean, yeah, that's getting to be a little rusty now, but whatever. So JB Weld does work. It's probably not a permanent solution, but it would last probably for a few years. And then, well, if it cracks, if that JB Weld cracks, I guess you just remove it and put new stuff on. Now it's really coming down now. Holy crap. So yeah, but yeah, I probably doesn't look that bad on camera, but it's way worse than when I came out here. So, but winter's here, boys and girls. However, it's mostly boys watching my videos. So, but yeah, it's here. She's coming. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. Just want to give you guys a little update to what the hell's going on, and yeah. So that's what's going on. Winter's here, and a bunch of other little things. I still got a lot of other little things I want to get done too, but yeah, I didn't get to it in time. Just too much going on. We had such a stinking short summer, and but yeah, so we got next year, I guess, to dick around with stuff and see what the hell we can do there. So, but yeah, so anyways, guys, I guess I'm gonna take off. So I guess yeah. Yeah, so anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off, so I guess have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.